Man, hold up.
Man, hold up.
Listen to your mind for the signs, so you never, ever, ever, ever be blind.
This is for everybody, everybody, everybody going through it. This is for everybody doing everything they can to make it through it. Through it. This is for everybody, everybody, everybody going through it. This is an invitation to visit my God, and I can help you through it. Through it.
Okay, how does that sound?
Sounds good.
Okay.
What about me?
Not too bad.
All right, cool.
Sounds good. Let's get into it.
All right, so welcome to the very first This Is For Everybody podcast. Yay for us. So we are super excited to get started. I can't even begin to tell you how far we've come in preparation for this actual day. So first episode is definitely going to be just this is an intro for This Is For Everybody, the podcast. And we'll just kind of get you all familiarized with who we are, a little bit about our background, what we're trying to do with the podcast, just the, church meeting.
Okay.
Okay, so we're going to have a little congregating and celebrating.
Yes,
and then I will actually turn it over to my lovely co-host, Mr. Antoine McNeese, and he'll go ahead and do a little intro, and then I'll jump back into it. So thank you all for listening to the very first episode of This Is For Everybody. We hope this is something that you can relate to. You find some sort of self-discovery within yourself by listening to us while we're on this journey of self-discovery together, and enjoy.
Amen.
Right.
Amen, Sister Jackson. Well, my name is Antoine McNeese, a.k.a. Twan. I'm originally from Austin, Texas, born and raised. I am a singer-songwriter, recording artist, rapper, and producer. I've been in the music industry, the local music industry, for a long time in Austin, Texas, and I'm just now kind of branching out and doing my solo thing, aside from the groups that I've been in Austin, gospel groups and R&B groups. And I actually come from the church background. I have evolved spiritually and mentally, and I just brought it to Charity's attention that I wanted to kind of start something. Well, we had already kind of talked about it in our daily conversations. We have real deep conversations, and they just evolve into something that we both feel. And because we're from the similar culture, we understand our words and our vocabulary and what we're trying to convey as far as messages that we both feel. We are very aligned with ourselves, and we're actually in the process of getting to know more of our family history. Yeah. And I feel like basically our culture lacks that. And it's just time to kind of open that door. We have specific leaders within our communities and people of public platforms that have been in our history, that has evolved through their own individual voices. Yeah. But we still basically are in a world where we don't have to deal with abuse, per se, as far as our culture. Now it's not physical abuse now it's mental abuse, right. And it's just basically aligning yourself with the greater you and evolving out of the generations that have raised you, because the generations that are before us, they're pretty much mentally set in a mind frame that can interfere with other generations that have already evolved out of the way they think specifically. Right. And this is not to bash any other generations, right. Because we want to open the door of just greater communication, basically. Right. To be able to kind of relate to each other, tell the truth, but also be able to convey a message of, I know who I am, and this is what I feel, and I'm going to continue to feel that. And there's nothing you may be able to do about it, and I hope that you're okay with that moving forward.
Right.
So what I want to touch up on, and I think Charity and I was kind of discussing it earlier today, we were talking about like specific leaders in our community and in the Black community. And just when it comes to our history, we were talking about Malcolm X and Elijah Muhammad earlier today, because we had both seen the Netflix documentary, and I'm still kind of getting through it. So you'll hear bits and pieces of it today, and then you'll hear bits and pieces of it tomorrow. But I kind of wanted to talk about that. She had brought to my attention just how connected she was to it as I am. And I kind of wanted to kind of open that door of communication as far as how it's kind of relevant to how the Black culture, how our relationships are with each other based off this specific documentary.
Well, I'm just saying, you had already introduced yourself. And you didn't let me introduce myself.
You're right.
The people want to know who I am.
They need to know who you are.
They just need to know who I am.
They need to know exactly who you are.
So, run that back.
Okay, all right.
So, again, my name is Charity.
Yes.
I am from Dallas, Texas, by way of a small little town called Emerson, Arkansas. My ride or die, my people down there, everything, my foundation is from Emerson, Arkansas. So I will never, ever not claim it. Currently, I am on a self-discovery, but, I work for a property management tech company that I actually really enjoy. I'm learning a lot about real estate investment and, different properties and communities, and just trying to figure out how to merge that with what I'm trying to do with this podcast, along with, making things accessible for people, specifically my people, and making sure that they have the resources that they need as well. So I'm really enjoying that. Big music junkie, love music. And that's kind of one of the things that connected Antoine and I, is that we kind of related initially through music, and then it just spiraled on into a friendship that I didn't even foresee happening. So I'm kind of really emotional about that.
Thank you.
You're welcome, But here we go. So, continuing, I'm getting a little boozy already.
Look, I ain't even started yet because I knew that was going to happen to me. So,
no,
I put that on a pause.
Yeah, well, so y'all gonna see very early that I'm probably the more jokester of the two of us, but stick with it because you might enjoy it. So rewinding that back to a little bit about me, the reason why we got into this podcast, I have been wanting to start a podcast for the lack of for the most of 2 years now, and finding the time, the studio, the logistics, just finding someone that I mesh well with as a co-host was very hard for me to find someone. And like Antoine said earlier, we just called each other all the time, and conversations would go on for 2 hours. And then just January 2020, I was like, Antoine, we're always on the phone talking about everything under the sun. Why not record this? Why not actually put this forward into motion? Okay. And I said it under, the guise of just joking. Why this fool call me back and say, you know what? Let's do it for real. And I was like, say less, let's go. And so literally within 2 weeks, 3 weeks time, we was calling each other, having conferences and setting up times to meet up and chat and throw out ideas of how we want to pitch this and move forward. And it just kept going. Immediately I knew, I was like, this is the person. This is the one I want to record with. This is the person that I feel like will, align with some of the things and relate to the ways that I think, while also providing a different perspective, because I'm a person that values multiple perspectives. I love how people think. I love how they internalize things and analyze them. So I was just like, you know what, this might can work. And he put in the effort to really, really go in with me to make sure that this became a reality. So I'm super excited. I can't even wait to begin to see how far this takes us, but that's neither here nor there. We're going to press forward. And so today, we'll just cover some brief topics, and then you can kind of, we'll go on further on into the show. But the main premise of our purpose of this podcast, we didn't even get to the purpose.
We didn't even get to the purpose at all.
But you finna feel it. So the main purpose of this podcast is we have this thing where Antoine said we all come from different backgrounds, different upbringings and religions and creeds, but this is a very Black as hell show. And we definitely want to come from a standpoint where even if you can't relate to it, this is still something for everybody. Like, you're going to be able to find something in this podcast that, once again, you may have never even considered, or, you know, there's just, there should be something you should be able to take away from this podcast is what I'm trying to get to. And my favorite thing that I've been loved to throw out is merging the ratchet with the righteous.
Yes.
Because we believe that they both can coexist. Like, why can't I talk about spirituality, or why can't I talk about universal healing at the same time smoking a blunt?
All right now.
Why can't I, you know, have these conversations about mental health and wellness while sitting on the balcony sipping a mimosa with my friends? I feel like both of them should be able to coexist and collide with each other without, you know, sorry, Grandma, me being considered a heathen, you know?
Yeah.
I just feel like they should be able to come together and in a conscious way be able to, you know, engage in dialogue, be able to understand how, as a person, we are constantly evolving. We should never feel stagnant. And just making sure that at the end of the day, you are connected and centered within yourself, but still being able and being true to who you are. So I'm just letting y'all know now, you might hear some things you ain't ever expect to come out my mouth. This is going to be the most raw me. This is going to be my form of self-therapy in a way that I hope really does touch somebody. And you know, a lot of people, they think I'm so well packaged and put together, and I'm very, you know, pragmatic about certain things, but I'm also very much so a ratchet ass bitch sometimes. And
Go ahead and say it.
You know,
say the whole thing.
Just ratchet as hell.
Don't let up on it.
But you know, I just like, you know, I like the term sophistiratchet. That's my term. I'm sophisticated and ratchet at the same time because I really truly believe that both can coexist.
Yeah.
And as you get to know us and we keep recording and coming back, because we're going to come back, you know, you'll see both of our personalities just kind of coming out and flourishing right before your very eyes. And we wanted to feel like you're having a conversation with us. We want you to feel like you sitting right here next to me smoking that blunt with me. Pass it, sis.
Yeah.
You know, so
even though we can't smoke in here, though, but we can smoke outside.
We can smoke outside. We can vape, too.
We definitely can.
But you know what I'm saying? We got this wine. Let me take a sip.
Okay, matter of fact, we need to cheers. We ain't even cheersed. How we going?
Right.
We need to bless the wine.
Bless the wine. Because, you know, God said, let there be wine. Or was that let there be light?
I don't know. I didn't get through all of the Bible. I just know bits and pieces of it like black folks do.
Right. But we gonna get
it's
through it.
It's too long.
It's too long.
Well, I will second that, and I will say, based off of what Charity said, I can pretty much relate as far as just my story and me being raw. Those of you who know me or have known me or know anything about me know that I've been raw since the age of 2. So I've never filtered myself from anything. I come from the church background, so I've had to defend myself a lot with my sexuality, with just what the things that I believe in, the things that are different from what I was taught, because you get to a stage in your life where you say to yourself, when do I keep on focusing on what you believe versus what I believe? Mm-hmm. So at the end of the day, this podcast is to basically kick down the door of restriction,
right?
You know, and beginning to be obedient with what you truly believe and what you truly connect with, because it's all about you. Because at the end of the day, before you close your eyes and transition to whatever, because we don't really know what it is, okay? We can assume, we can read as many books, but ain't nobody came back and provide actual evidence, okay?
You know, that's all we say.
So when we get to that point, we want to be able to understand that there is a connection that